We are live. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we're here. I've got the lovely Stella. She's on mute while I sing her a song. I don't know why she's chosen this one. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. And that's all we're doing because the show is about Stella and it's not about the music. But you do know it's October, don't you, Stella?
It is only October, but that is so important. That song is absolutely so important.
So my first question to every single guest I have is, why did you choose that song? I'm sure I know the answer, but go on, tell us the answer.
Okay, you think you know the answer. Okay.
I do.
Well, obviously, my business is all about Garlands. It's about creating Christmassy things. However, that's not the reason why I completely chose that song. My dad was a professional singer in his heyday, and he had a wonderful, fabulous tone, and he used to sing that. And for a deaf girl to be able to hear a song is really big, but his tone was perfectly within my hearing range. So I got every single word. And my dad was absolutely amazing. He was the Father Christmas of the family. He dressed as Father Christmas. We were really into Christmas. We used to decorate the house up every single year, me and my dad. And he actually he passed over some 22 years ago, actually putting Christmas decorations up. So it's my tribute to him, to all that I do, with all the work that I do, with my work in regards to bereavement counselling, with my garlands, and also with the work that I do on LinkedIn as well, with the stories and the helping people behind the scenes aspect as well. So it's a tribute to him more than
Oh
anything
my
else.
goodness, that's beautiful, Stella. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I am so glad you didn't tell me this before, because
I
there is
know.
no way I'd have wanted to sing that. I do hope that I did your father proud.
You did, very
Oh,
much
bless
so.
you. You're so very kind. And let's call out the elephant in the room. You are deaf. You talk about being deaf. It says
Yes.
in your headline. How are we managing to have this conversation today?
I'm having to focus on lip reading now. Even though I have I've got shoes, what they call shoes on the bottom of my hearing aid. It's like wearing a personal headset, and that connected directly to the computer. It only, because my hearing is, I've only got 5% in one side, I've got 1% in the other. I have to really rely on lip reading. So I'm having to, even though it looks like I'm looking in two different places, I'm having to focus on lip reading you when you're talking, and then obviously I want to talk to people that are out there and look at the people that are there as well. So yeah, that's the reason why I do it this way.
No, well, I wouldn't know you were deaf. We've had quite a few conversations. You've been on my workshop, and I don't know what a deaf person is. I really don't. I'm really sorry, but you don't come over as a deaf person. You put yourself out there and you try, and the fact that you're actually on this show today must be a real outside of your comfort zone. So,
You're not kidding. To have me in a place where I've got no guarantee, I've got no caption, I have no other way of communicating other than lip reading, which only gives you a maximum of 35% of what you're picking up. So for every word that I hear, or should I say I'm trying to hear, I might only get one syllable. The rest of it is guesswork.
wow.
So that is essentially how every deaf person has to work. Yeah, it's hard work. It really is hard work. But we do our best. And why not get out there? Why not enjoy life as much as you can do with whatever ability you have, and make the most of what you can? It's brilliant. I've got volume control. How on earth can I complain about that?
You are brilliant. You are brilliant. And the other reason for getting you on the show is your laugh is brilliant. I don't know. Can you hear your laugh in your head?
No, I feel it, and because I don't know how loud I am. I have to work on vibrations, so I really try not to to talk too loud, and I'm focusing all the time on how loud I'm sounding. But my laugh had absolutely no control, and I just had this fizz that comes from the bottom of my stomach that just comes rising up. It's like champagne bubbles, and I have to give into it. So I don't know how loud it is. I just know that it might not be the best sound on LinkedIn.
It's infectious, it's brilliant, and it's uniquely you, Stella. So don't stop laughing. Please don't stop laughing.
Oh, dear.
Do you know,
Yeah.
we could call it a day now, and I've had the best day ever. So thank you so much. But I've got some questions for you, because you use LinkedIn. That's how we're friends. So I want to just fire up a few questions here for you about your use of LinkedIn. And so, how long have you been on LinkedIn?
Oh, I originally joined about just before COVID hit. And because COVID hit, I was also just starting out with I was doing the Facebook, I was doing Instagram, etc. And I couldn't do everything all at once. And because at the time I didn't have the technology I needed to be able to do online work, everything had to just suddenly stop because I couldn't communicate because of COVID. So I was so isolated. So I put LinkedIn on hold at that time and focused on Facebook and Instagram to get them off the ground. So I came back to that in, I think it was May June time this year. So I've really been back on LinkedIn from then. So it's not really been that long, but it's wonderful. I've met some really fabulous people on it so far. I love it.
Good. Yeah. So you say you use Facebook and Instagram as well.
Yes, yes.
So do you use all three the same sort of proportion?
Yes, I do. Because I think each one provides a different element of what my companies need. And because I work on my own, LinkedIn suits me more so in one respect, because I feel like I'm at work, I'm in the coffee room. When I go on LinkedIn, it's like, oh, just pop for a coffee, and I talk to people, and that connection. I think without LinkedIn, I wouldn't have got through this year. I've a lot of things have been happening, and I wouldn't have got through this year. And because I've had that connection with people, it's been absolutely fantastic. It's enabled me to stay on track and stay positive and to keep going. Because I think, and it's the same for everybody who work on their own at home in particular, where that isolation can be so hard to work with because you've got nobody giving you that boost, that, oh, come on, you can do this, you've got to do it all yourself. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. And I think LinkedIn is absolutely brilliant as a tool in that respect, where it can help you to stay connected, and still focused at the same time. It's brilliant, absolutely superb for that.
No, you're quite right, and I've made so many friends because of LinkedIn, and yes, when you work on your own, you don't have the coffee room, you don't have the water cooler or whatever it is, as you can use as analogy. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. That's a great answer. That was a great answer. That's answered two of my other questions as well. So you do your own content, don't you? What tell us a little bit about the content that you produce on LinkedIn.
The content I produce on LinkedIn, I'm really aware. I'm aware that other people are giving their their inputs in different ways. So it can be educational, it can be about business, and I'm really aware about not focusing it all on business, because I've seen how other people have done that, and and it, for me, it's a combination of everything. I like to talk, as you can probably tell. I like to talk, and I like to get into the nitty gritty of things, and uncover people's lives. It's part of what I do with the Stella Garlands as well. And I think that if people can understand why they do the way that they do things, then they're coming from a really firm place, of a real foundation of being able to create the best life they can, with their circumstances. And that is basically what I do with my content on LinkedIn. I focus it on helping people to understand why they do what they do, and where they're coming from, but also to inject some humour into that, and say, come on, life's not that serious. It doesn't have to be that serious. No matter what's happened to you, you can bounce back from this, build that resilience up, get out there and live life to the fullest you can. And that is what it's all about. And that's what I'm trying to do. But at the same time, kind of hint at Stella Garlands as well. And I think if you can build up trust with somebody, and you build that wonderful connection, then people, if they like you, they will do business with you, but they will more likely to open up to you. Stella Garlands requires so much trust, because you have to get people to open up to you. You have to get people to tell you their stories, and some of it is not pleasant. And I always find the positives in people's stories. I always look for that, because at the end of the day, that is what Stella Garland is about. So when I'm talking to people, I'm trying to get people to understand that, hey, you can trust me. So if they already know me on LinkedIn, then they'll find it a little bit easier to open up and tell me their stories and let me create that wonderful magical result for them in the end. And that's the reason why I do what I do.
Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful. We've got someone here says laugh like champagne bubbles. I love that, and I don't know who this is, and whether it's if you can put your name in front of the question, because I'm not seeing who you are, whether that's the same person or whether it's lots of different people. But someone else has put in here. Love that you have such a lovely positive outlook on life.
Oh, wow. Lovely. Thank you.
I've got some questions here for you, if you don't mind answering them. As a deaf person, do you follow the creators whose content you can enjoy because it's accessible, or how do you choose?
Okay, right. A combination of quite a few, actually. The contents that I really do enjoy, I love the humour, and I love certain, sometimes it's quite naughty sense of humour. I love that. It tickles my funny bone, and I really, really love that. And I do follow those kind, because at the same time, as much as life is serious, LinkedIn is serious, and it has to be to some extent, because it's where most people get their educational information from. It's where they connect it with business. But I like looking at the humour, but I also like looking at finding people who will educate me. I love to be educated. I love to be told, oh, this is how this works, or this is how this is. And I think everybody has something to say. Everybody has something to contribute. And if I can learn from somebody in one day, then that, no matter where that content is, I want to learn. I want to know. And I enjoy that aspect of it. So I don't look at one particular creator. I look at what can I take from this particular feed today? What can I learn about something today? And that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. This LinkedIn user, it's all Odessa. So, where are we? She's got another question. What's next for you? Are we going to see a podcast or a live? Yeah.
Oh,
This was nerve-wracking enough. Hey.
people do not know. This is my first live, and people do not know how much I have stressed over coming on live LinkedIn. And it really has been horrendous for me.
Even
and it's
with
because
me
I'm really
even with me hosting.
It doesn't matter about who's hosting. It's the fact that I'm live and people can see me. And I like hiding in my workshop with all the glitter and the baubles. I'm safe there. There's nobody looking at what I'm doing. And I think that's it's quite strange for a deaf person, because a deaf person is visual, and we know what it's like to stare, because we have to stare. We have to be so focused. And a deaf person focuses far, far more on the visuals than anybody else will do. And because of that, because of how keenly we are aware of the information we pick up visually, we don't want people looking at us like that, if that makes sense. And it's like, oh, I'm not sure how I want this. But at the same time, I've needed to get over that barrier, that live barrier, to get out there and to see what it does feel like. I probably will cringe like absolutely mad by the time I come to review this and I look back and think, oh, I wish I'd not said that. But it is what it is. I will learn. I will grow with it. We might see another live. We might see a podcast. I've been bullied into it. I'll say that much.
I didn't bully you into this. Just for the record.
I look at it in the sense of we get signs from the universe. That's how I look at it. And I've had lots and lots of nudges on LinkedIn and outside of LinkedIn about me doing live demonstrations, about me doing live podcasts and stuff. And when I see those signs all over, then I know I'm being bullied. I'm being nudged into doing something, and I need to heed and I need to follow through on that. And that is how I live my life. I watch for the signs, and when I know that I've got to do something, even if I'm kicking and screaming all the way like a 2-year-old temper tantrum, then I will do it. I'll still feel that fear and go ahead and do it anyway. I will try.
Good for you. Because the thing is, right, what you've got to think about is by not doing it, right, you're depriving everybody else of Stella. That's the thing. That's the thing. Why should it just be me and other people that Zoom you? Hmm?
I wouldn't look at it quite like that.
So here I am. Here's a conundrum for you. Here I am running a live show, right? Asking you questions, but someone else is asking all the questions. Give us a break, Odessa. Here's another one. Being able to express yourself is so important, and your posts are incredibly heartfelt. How do you choose your topics?
Oh, they choose me. That sounds really odd, doesn't it? They choose me. I might be in the middle of watching some obscure television program or a film or something, or reading a book. Or suddenly I might be in the middle of doing something literally with the baubles and a thought will pop into my head on whatever it is I'm doing, even if it's a brilliant film or whatever, I will put that down and then I will write and I will follow. I will just follow my thoughts and allow my thoughts to flow through. And I allow myself to become completely in that moment of that thought of what I feel like I need to say. What do I want to say? How do I want to put that over? And to go with the emotion with it. Because I feel that's so important. It's okay to say, oh, I can write about that. But unless you have meaningfulness behind it, you're not going to be able to get that point over. And a lot of the thoughts that, because I spend a lot of time in isolation in my head because of my hearing loss, I probably overthink, I think, in some respect. But I do think a lot and I feel a lot and I'm more focused on what's going on the inside. Um, and sometimes it's just like I've learned a lot in my life. I've not had, I think we've all got journeys that we don't really want to share, but we know that we've learned a lot from. And I have learned a lot from in my particular journey. And some people will never have those experiences. So that if I can give them the knowledge, the lesson that I've learned from that in a way that can be understood with love, then I think that's a beautiful way to get that point over without sounding preachy. And that's what I try to do.
No, you do. Yeah, absolutely, you do. Will you use LinkedIn for other business interests that you have, even though Garlands is what you're showing up for the most?
I in some respects I do. I do bereavement counselling. And that sounds really odd that I would do something like Garland and bereavement counselling. They're opposite ends of the spectrum. But yet they're not, because when you work with somebody that is really, really bereaved and there is a lot of grief there, there's a lot of heaviness with that. When you've been working with that, and I might have to work with somebody for well over an hour, and that's a long time to be helping somebody through what could be the hardest time of their life, and you need like relief from that. You need somewhere where you can put that heaviness down. So for me to be able to do the bereavement counselling, and then at the end of it, once my client's gone, I can turn into coming to my workshop and go, oh yes, let's get back to the glitter, and that lightness just puts me really, really back. So I can let go of that heaviness because it's not mine to carry. But I will gladly help somebody find the tools to help themselves to work through that. But it just means that when I come into the garland aspect, it means that I can go, yes, I can play. It's playtime now. I'm going to go and play, and I get excited again. So I get the best of both worlds with that. So the bereavement aspect, I will. I think it comes up in my writing quite a bit, but people don't realise it's bereavement aspects. It's life mentoring in some respect, and I think I probably promote that more over time. We shall see. We shall see.
Cool, cool, good question. How would you like LinkedIn and other platforms to change to become more inclusive?
Oh, it's really strange because it's only this morning that I'd noticed somebody. I'm really funny about manners. I can't help it. It's the way that I've been brought up, and manners are so important. And I noticed that somebody wasn't being very pleasant in the way that they were asking for help on the inclusive side. And it really, really, what was happening was there was no captions, there was no subtitles on a particular clip, and somebody had highlighted it in not a very pleasant way. So I was like, no, there's a good way of asking for this. So I'm asking online, please, if you can remember to do captioning, if you can remember to find a way of making something more fully inclusive for the deaf, I would be so grateful. And it would be absolutely wonderful. I'm aware that not everybody is technologically advanced in captioning, but please ask somebody that can help you to do that if you can. Because I think if platforms do include more, especially the deaf, because it's something that we don't realize how difficult it is when you can see things, but you can't get the information from it, but you're still seeing it, but you don't know, you don't understand. And I think there's so many people that do lose their hearing through accidents or illness in some way. And I think it's a shock. It's a shock to the system. So if they feel that they're still part of LinkedIn group or whatever social media is out there, and they can still access what they've always accessed, they may not feel that loss as much. It's not so much as a harsh shock. They can feel like they can still live a life as such on LinkedIn, and I think that's important. So yeah, please, if we can have captioning on everybody, that'd be wonderful. I will talk to you if you have captions. I'm not going to put everybody off now, isn't it? No, we don't want her coming and talking to us.
So here's some good news. Here is some good news. LinkedIn is working on native captioning. Okay.
Brilliant.
I will do a post this week to show people how to use the tool that I use.
Wonderful.
So then you can
That would be
start
absolutely amazing.
start sharing that. It's not difficult. But I will make sure I'm trying to think how I'm going to do. I'm going to have to borrow someone else's mobile phone because I use my mobile phone. But I will do a post for you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So that people can know how easy it is to do captioning on videos, because it shouldn't be a barrier. It shouldn't be a barrier. So yeah,
that would be wonderful, actually.
We can do that for you. Last LinkedIn question. Have you got business as a result of your activity on LinkedIn?
Right. I've had a few queries, but this is a problem. My order book for what I do was closed in August. So I can't take any more businesses, or if anybody was approaching me, any queries now, I'm taking orders for next year already. It's something that, because it's so unique what I do, because I don't just do the storytelling aspect, I do your everyday themed in colours aspect as well. So I'm already taking orders for next year. So at this moment I've had queried, but people are, one particular lady, she's wanting quite a big job, and she hadn't realised how much time was needed to do this huge garland that she wanted. So it was like, okay, right, we're going to have to do that next year. So it's a kind of a semi-business so far, but because I've not been pushing Stella Garlands, I've just kind of gently let it mull in the background, because again, it's that trust. I want people to trust me. I want people to enjoy how I come across, so that they know that when I do the work for them, I will give it absolutely everything that I've got to make it the best I can, and it will be something magical by the time they see it. Yeah.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about Stella Garlands then, because you keep mentioning it. Odessa's asked all these LinkedIn questions, but come on, what is a Stella Garland?
Okay, Stella Garland is, I'm a visual storyteller, and I tell people life stories on garlands, and I find out about how people's lives have been, well, what their journey has been today. I find out about their dreams and their loves and their hobbies, and even their ambition, everything they've ever achieved today. I sit and I talk to them about that. And then I say, right, okay, leave this with me. Let me create something out of everything that you've said. And then I will go away and I will tell them their life story in a positive, affirmative way, so that when they sit back at Christmas, I mean, everybody at Christmas, we love Christmas, but some people find Christmas really difficult, because of the fact that they're focusing on who is not there, and what they have lost, and what that year has been about for them. And it can be really, really tough going for people. And the way that I like to do my garland is that if you have a garland in front of you that's saying, look at how good this was, look at how good this is, look at how good that is to come, then you're mentally sending yourself these wonderful subliminal messages of positivity, so that by the time the new year starts, you're in that positive frame of mind, and you're raring to go. And and that is what my garlands are about. It's like saying, you have had the best life that you could at the circumstances that you've had, at the cards that you've had dealt with, to you. And why not celebrate that? Why not celebrate everything that you have achieved? All the little wins are important. And even the wins that people don't see as being significant, they are important. It makes you who you are. And why not celebrate all that with magical, with sparkles, with twinkles, with baubles, with specially created adornments that actually says, this is who you are. Why not celebrate who you are today? And that's the whole reason for doing the Garlands the way that I do. I'm actually the only company in the UK that does this.
It is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. You are incredible. We're out of time. We're out of time already. I've got one more question for you.
Okay.
And I just want to go to next week a second. So bear with me a second. Because I've got did I drop it in? No, I didn't even drop it in. That's annoying, isn't it? That's
what did you not do?
All right, it's here now. It's here now. But we had a little bit of stress at the beginning, didn't we?
We did.
Anyway, I've got Heather Howe in next week. She's talking about web design and stuff like that. But you have been an absolutely delightful guest today, Stella.
It's been wonderful.
I knew it was going to be special. I didn't think it was going to be this special.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is a comment from Odessa. You're incredibly brave, Stella. And there are so few people willing to speak up and educate us about disabilities and how to be more accepting and inclusive. Thank you for pushing past your worries and nerves. I totally echo that as well. This is it's 15 minutes behind the profile, and we've doubled that already. My last question to you: what tip would you give your 16-year-old self?
Run. No, I'm joking. I would say live in every moment, laugh back at life, and do you as only you can.
Perfect.
That's what I would tell me.
I knew we'd have an amazing answer at the end. Stella, thank you so much. You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to come back. You've been incredible today. Thank you so much.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah. Say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, Odessa, for all your lovely questions.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for your support.
We will see you next week. Cheerio now. Bye-bye.